Oh, and Mike, I'll record as well.
All right, I'm gonna open the gate.
I can manage that while you're playing, Mike, too. Got him.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Like to put where you're from, you may do that.
Welcome. We're gonna get started in just another moment.
Give it a few more minutes. We've still got more folks coming in. We can let it go. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to be here with our Music Alive series. And we have Jim Donovan with us today. And Jim, I remember you from Rusted Roots days. You were one of my favorite bands. So, woohoo! So, it's just so much fun to have you here today with us. And Jim is doing some amazing work. And I'm going to hand it over to Mike to give us a little bit of tech, Mike. And then I'm also going to have Mike do the intro because he has had the joy and honor of working with Jim quite a bit over the last few years. So, Mike, I'm sending it over to you and I'm going to run the room here for you.
Yes, indeed. So, just a few reminders, and welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time. I know there's at least a couple of new people this week. Just some reminders that you're always in control of your experience. And so with Zoom, a big part of that means controlling your view. So you can usually change that in the upper right of your screen. And right now I'm in gallery view, so I can see everybody at once, and that's part of the experience that I really like. But later we'll feature Jim, and we may spotlight Jim, but you can always change to gallery view or speaker view anytime you like. So that's up to you. And then you can open the chat. There's a button down at the bottom of your screen. You may need to touch your screen and move your cursor there. You can open your chat. You can ask questions as we go if you like, and we'll do our best to circle back at some point and make sure important things get clarified. And it's just such a pleasure to be here with one of my good friends and lifelong teachers at this point. And so, yeah, I was a fan of Jim's music first, and his background is in performance and playing for many, many thousands of dancers at a time. And so that's how I first experienced Jim. But then as soon as I got to know him, I knew he was going to teach me about a lot more than music. And so he spent the last couple decades bringing music to people as a way, I like to call it, of caregiving. And so that's how we met. He and I were doing some of the same work and started collaborating. But so, you know, like myself, at some point he became more than a drummer, and music began to take on new roles, and he began to explore the power of using music as a tool for transformation. So please give a warm welcome to Jim Donovan.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike and Mary. I appreciate that. It's really nice to see everybody here. And today I want to offer you some things, hopefully that you can use for yourself. And if you work with people, some things that you might be able to share with others too. My big mission with all this work is to help reduce suffering, both for myself and for anybody that encounters it. So when you find something from me, please feel free to teach it to people. Please feel free to share it. Can I see your hands like this first? Let's just start here. So hands, very nice hands. I like these hands. If you feel like turning your camera on, feel free. You certainly don't have to, but some of this at the beginning is fun with camera on. And I'm interested to hear how many of you are already working with other people doing some sort of facilitation. Let me just check that out. Got some people doing this. Fantastic. Or you can say so in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you prefer. That's okay too. Well, your work is needed more now than ever. You all know this. I'm preaching to the choir here. We have a wild world, and hopefully by the end of today, you've got some new ideas of things that you can utilize to help bring people back to their center, back into what I like to call their true self, where they're not projecting themselves into the future or the past, but they're right here in the present moment. When we are there, that's when we have the best chance to get better, to heal, and to really experience life at a full level. One of the big things that I've been teaching besides drumming is this idea of I call it active sound healing. This is different than what sometimes I really enjoy doing, which is I call it passive sound healing, which is listening to like a sound bath, or doing like some guided imagery with music, or maybe using a metal bowl or a crystal bowl and feeling the vibration, or a didgeridoo, something like that. Those things are beautiful. I love them. Active sound healing is something where we are the instrument. We are the ones creating the vibration and getting the benefit that we are generating for ourselves. And so what I'd like to do is to invite you just to take 10 seconds, maybe close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Take a breath in, just let it go. And just pause right here and notice how you've shown up today. Notice how you feel in your mind, in your body. Whatever it is fine. Just notice what it is. And if you're willing, feel free to put a word in the chat that describes whatever that is for you. It could be one word, a couple words. You don't have to do it if you don't feel like it. How are you in this moment? We've got some people coming in here. I've got some happy people, excited, focused, relaxed. I've got medium, renewed, overwhelmed. Yeah, totally. I get that. Content, all kinds of good stuff coming in. And I'm just going to invite you to just keep an eye on how you've shown up today and see if what we do by the end of our time, see if what we do changes it at all. Where I'd like to begin is to do a quick teaching on what and why we're doing what I'm about to show you. So when we create sound with our own voice, and if you can still see me there over on the side, if you just get your hands kind of like this, and if you place your palms on your neck and just take a breath in and hum. And one more time. If you feel vibration coming from your voice into your hands, just raise your hand. Let me just check that out. How many feel that? Great. When we create that vibration with our voice, we are doing something besides making sound, which is called vagus nerve stimulation. Some of you might know about the vagus nerve. Some of you are thinking maybe Las Vegas. Well, that's a different thing. The vagus nerve, this thing it's the longest nerve in your body. It's a really incredible thing to know about. This image right here, this is just the vagus nerve in your throat, in your larynx. And if you look at this image, you'll see that the vagus nerve are all the gold colored parts that you can see in the image. Now, if you look at a full image, this nerve actually goes throughout the entire body. It starts up at the back of the brainstem. It goes behind your eyes. It goes into your inner ear, over your throat, as we can see here in the image, and then down. It innervates the heart and the lungs and all the major organs the whole way down to your colon. It really spans the entire body. And its function is like a thermostat. The vagus nerve helps your body kick into a nervous system state that it needs. So if I have an emergency and I need to act fast, chemical messages are moving from the brain to the body and also from the body to the brain. And the system begins to change. And that system happens as a result of the information that travels on this nerve. So it follows that it really has a lot to do with a lot of different functions in the body: blood sugar, blood pressure, inflammation, oxygen levels, stress and calm-inducing chemicals. It does both, which I think is fascinating. Among the stress-inducing, the stress-relieving chemicals, I want to make sure you know about these. They're really interesting and I think very important to what we all do. First is when we do vagus nerve stimulation, we help the body to produce acetylcholine. It's a natural tranquilizer, so it helps you to relax. It's also a natural inflammation suppressant. Of course, most of us have heard of dopamine. It's that great feel-good chemical, the pleasure chemical. Endorphins, natural painkillers, and this other stuff called nitric oxide, which it's an antiviral. It's actually produced in your paranasal sinuses. And then what it does, it's also not only antiviral, but it's also anti-inflammatory. It has the ability to help you to open up blood vessels. It's actually a component, believe it or not, in some of the new treatments that they're using for coronavirus. It was one of the chemicals, nitric oxide was one of the chemicals used back during the SARS virus in the early 2000s that helped people to recover. And then the other big chemical in vagus nerve stimulation is oxytocin. This is a natural bonding hormone. It helps you to feel safe. If you're a mother, you probably have heard about oxytocin. It is a very natural hormone that happens really when we are in communion with somebody else. It can happen, of course, during sex, but also during breastfeeding. It happens during group singing, group drumming, group dancing, anything where we're getting people together doing things in unison together, it begins. And what's important about this is that it can really help to lower the barriers between people. So when we stimulate the vagus nerve with sound, it helps us to manage some pretty significant symptoms that a lot of us deal with, like pain, improving nervous system function, lifting depression, helping to lower blood pressure, manage stress. It really is good right before bedtime. And if you're a person like me who's dealt with anxiety for a long time, it really helps quite a bit. So let's learn how do we stimulate the vagus nerve. So first thing, here's what you don't need: a great voice. You don't need to be in tune. You don't need to know what pitch even means, right? As long as you can create the vibration with your voice, you've got everything that you need. I'm going to show you, we've actually already done one simple basic exercise, which is just humming. But I'm going to show you a couple things we can do with this exercise that are very practical, very helpful for the symptoms that we just talked about. By the way, every last bit of what I'm sharing with you is based in peer-reviewed research. This is research that I get from the NIH and PubMed. If you are a research-bent person, this is not just coming from somebody's blog or someone who said it works this way. Everything that I do has to be that. I work at a university. I teach this every day to college students. So just want to give you a little bit of that information so you have it. And I'm going to give you access to that information too, so you can check it out for yourself. Let's take a big breath just for me, because I just talked a lot. Fantastic. So remember, vagus nerve starts back of the brain stem, goes right over the vocal cords. So what I'd like us to do is to just take a few moments, and we're going to do a few repetitions of the exercise we just did, and then we're going to extend it, and I'll explain how that goes once we get there. So the hands, by the way, this, I feel like it creates extra vibration somehow, like the bones of the fingers somehow resonate when vibration touches them, and it creates even more vibration. So I really both like it for that, and I like the comfort of it. So it's just very gentle, right? The hands are like this. So the spine is straight. We're going to breathe into the belly and then just exhale a full hum. Here we go. Yeah, breath in. Breathing in. Couple more. One more time. Then just pause. Notice how you feel. Specifically, notice your head and your neck and your face. Tune into any sensations that might be there. You might feel nothing at all, and that's all right too. If you feel like putting a word in the chat of how you could describe the sensation, feel free to do that. Sometimes when we hear from others, it helps us to understand the experience a little more deeply. Got a couple coming in here. We've got lighter, we've got tingly. Yes, there are those feel-good chemicals happening already. Lifted, more space. Buzzy, thank you, dopamine and endorphins. That's free and non-addictive, by the way. Reduced tension in the face. Cool. Thank you for that. This sensation, this is something that you can repeat over and over again. We only did a couple of the exercise and you're already starting to feel the sensation of the result of vagus nerve stimulation. Again, we're just using the sound of our voice. When we teach this to other people, the barrier for them is the worry about being shamed about their voice, unfortunately. A lot of people, especially the older the person is, can tend to have had poor experiences with this in the past. And I only know that from the stories that I've heard from people. I also know it from my own experience being told by an elementary principal one time about how lacking my own voice was. So those stories are they're everywhere. So what you can do to help people is you just reassure them at the beginning that whatever voice that they brought is exactly the one that they need, that they don't have to be like you, that they can be and make whatever sound comes out naturally for them. So let's do something specifically for tension and soreness and pain. I don't know about you. For me, I carry my stress right here at the base of my neck and right over the shoulder. Anybody who's got that? I should have all my hands up, and if I can lift my legs, yep, I'm lifting them up too. So what's interesting is that any good masseuse, they can work that stuff out. And if you're lucky enough to have one in-house that can just work on you whenever you need it, you've won life. Congratulations. Most of us aren't that lucky, and so we have to work for ourselves. So what I'm going to show you, I call it a maneuver, and I teach you the maneuver first. Is a way that we're going to put pressure on the body, and then we're going to add sound to it after you learn this maneuver. Okay. Now, if you can imagine, so on the back of your head, at the base of your skull, there's your spine, and then right next to it are some muscles. So if you put your fingers, and I use mostly my pointer and middle finger because they're the strongest. Sometimes my third finger too, and I get up on the base of my skull on those muscles. So I'm going to push there. You got it? So we're going to breathe in, and you can just watch me for a second. I'm going to breathe in. I'm going to tilt my head like this, and I'm going to just hum as I move my head back and forth and then up and down a little bit while I continue to press, right? I'm pressing beside my spine, not on the bones. That's going to hurt. And I'm just moving my neck like that. Got it? And then we come back up slowly. When you're working with your neck, everything is slow. In fact, with all what we're doing, none of it is jerky or rushed, okay? That's the maneuver, and then what we do is we gradually go down the neck, point by point. I mean, there's tons of pressure points back there. You're just looking for one, and you're gonna press it, and then tilt, and you do the yes action, and then you do the kind of the side to side. What we're gonna add to it is the humming. Let me pause here. If you've had traumatic brain injury, sometimes this is too intense for people that have that. If you have vertigo, if you get vertigo easily, just do a very small amount at a time, or if you're concerned about it, you can just not do all of the head tilting. Sometimes that's hard for people with vertigo. That's very rare. Both of those are very rare, but they've come up in the last 15 years I've been doing this. So just want to point that out. All right, if you're with me, here we go. So we got the fingers. I'm going to start back on the base of the skull again, just for fun, because this is fun for me. And I'm going to breathe in. Tilt and hum. Slowly coming back up. Shake out your arms because the hands can fatigue quickly here, the arms too. Yep, and take breaks if you need them, right? It's always okay to do what you need to. Let's go a little bit lower this time on the neck, right? Find a new point that's a little bit lower on the sides of the spine. Breathe in. Slowly tilt and hum. Slowly back up. Shake out the arms. Very nice. Lower point, next lower point. Once you have it, we're going to breathe in, tilt down. Slowly back up. Shake it out, shake it out. And we're going to do one more back there, the lowest point on the neck. Yeah. So here we go. This is right down near the connection of the shoulder. We're pressing. I'm using my pointer and middle finger. I'm really pressing. Breathe in. Tilt and press. You got it. Come back. Just relax. Take a breath in. Just let it go. Got people yawning. That's a huge compliment, by the way. Fantastic. By the way, that's your parasympathetic nervous system going, yes, I'm here at your service. Vagus nerve stimulation is like, you could think of it as a switch. You're switching out of your sympathetic state into your rest and digest and restore state, parasympathetic. All right, so now we need a new maneuver because we got the neck. Hopefully you're starting to feel some clarity there. But now we need to get to this part. So if you just take one, I'll back up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm getting one arm like this, and I'm going to hold the elbow. Then I turn my hand like this and just wave. That part's for me. Thank you. So turn it back again. That was just for fun. And you're going to find a point up here. Everyone's so serious. We're going to find a point here. Just find one. Like look for one and start pressing. And as soon as you find one that goes, oh yeah, that's the one, then press it and hold it. You got it? And then we're going to tilt away from it to the side. Again, slowly. And then watch me. I'm going to go a little forward and just a tiny bit back to the center. I don't go backwards the whole way. That's not so good for the neck. But forwards tends to be. Right? Pressing the whole time. And then we switch. Grab the elbow, find a new spot on the other side, press it, and then tilt to the other side. And see what I'm doing here? I'm just again nodding my head yes from this position. Now you shouldn't be hurting yourself, but you should feel it. You should feel the pressure, and you do your best with this. You do what your hands and your body can do, and it's all right. Switch sides. Find a new spot. Any of these spots over here will work. We're giving the muscle just a little bit of traction, right? So this time, when we go to the other side, when we tilt, we're going to breathe in and hum as we do it, and we're going to work the body from the inside on the vagus nerve, and also work the muscle from the outside. Ready? So press, breathe in, tilt. got it. Come back slowly to the center. Switch sides. Other elbow. New spot. Breathe in. Tilt away. Slowly back up. Everything's slow. Switch sides. Elbow. New point. Breathe in. You got it now. Other side. New point. Breathe in, tilt. Final one, switch sides. Forget what side I was on now. Yep, new point, or the same point if you want. Breathe in, tilt. Slowly back up. Rest your arms. Nice job. Good, 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 good. I see a question in the chat about showing on the back of my neck where I put the fingers. So I got all this hippiness here. So if this is the spine, I'm gonna put the fingers on the side, and for the base of the skull, I actually push up like this and hold it. But then as I move down the points, here's the bones. I move right over to the side of those bones. So I'm pressing and then tilting. Does that help, Megan? All right. Good. Good question. Good question. Let's take a breath in together, if you would. Let me just check my gallery view here. How many are feeling sleepy? Or my sleepy people? I mean, it is in the East anyway, it's 4 o'clock. So, I mean, this is nap time for me. So that's probably not a fair question. How many notice that the head, the neck, and the shoulders feel different than the rest of the body? Yeah, interesting. If you feel a lightness where we just worked, this gives you some good information. One is that you might not realize how much stress that you carry in those spots. So right now, if those parts feel more alive, part of that is blood flow, right? You just increase blood flow by doing all the pressure. The other part is what the work that we're doing from the inside on the vagus nerve. Remember, we have all these different chemicals that are happening. Like right now, if we took a blood test, you'd be able to see increased levels of these chemicals in your body. These are real. These are things that are your birthright to use as you like. And this is why I get so excited about teaching this, because it's like when I learned it, it's like I got access to a whole new region of my system that I didn't know existed before. So you have the ability with your own hand or hands, with your own voice, to shift how you feel. This can take us out of a lethargic state into a focused energy. It can take us from stress back to the center, back to that parasympathetic dominance that is so helpful when we need to rest, so helpful when we're trying to make good decisions. So you might think of this as a basic coping skill. This is something that you can teach to people, and this is one of many exercises that I teach to people, and I'll share a little bit more about how to see some more of that stuff later. I'm going to pause. Does anybody have a question before we do the next sections here? There's a little more to do. And if you want to, you can put it in the chat. I had a decades-long career as a massage therapist. It seems like it might be helpful for a massage recipient to hum while receiving the massage. If they're game, try it out. Why not? It's a double service that you can do. Now they have to be actively doing it, and which can take some people out of the massage, but some people might be game for it. So especially if you explain what's happening, if you can give them the information about their body, it really helps to create the buy-in. Let's see. Would we get a recording? If you're talking about some of the things that I'm going to show you about later, yes, I have a whole library of this information, tutorials, guided audio, and those all these exercises are in there. Have I used these techniques with elementary age children? My own, when they were younger, yes. I haven't done a full class of little ones with this, but I don't think I would hesitate. I would, make sure that you've got some professionals in the room if you're not credentialed and all that. Make sure you have your clearances, all that stuff. But I don't see why not. This is just stretching and humming. Nothing spooky about that. Well, I'm sure someone would find it spooky, but we don't have to talk about that today. Let's see. And also, yes, this session is going to be live on Mary's site, the Music Alive series, in that library as well. Do I notice an increase in saliva when I'm doing this? Yes, actually, I do. And why does that happen? I'm not sure exactly why. I could figure that out, though. Good question. Good question. Better with lower or higher pitches? So it's a good question. Everyone's voice is different. And what I say is you experiment first by, like, when you exhale, whatever sound comes out naturally when you exhale, when you're not trying, start there. The natural bass pitch of your voice, if you will. And then if you want to experiment with lower pitches and higher pitches, you certainly can. Generally, higher pitches are felt higher in the body. Lower pitches will move down into the chest and belly. Let's see what else we have in here. Humming is a great idea, especially in getting men to verbalize and even chant or sing. Yes, great point. Yeah, a lot of men have resistance to things like this, and a lot of them, once they figure out that they can self-regulate with it, get very excited about it. I've done a lot of this work with people in recovery, and it tends to go well with a lot of those folks because they like that they can create a way for themselves to feel natural euphoria without a substance they're sticking into their arms or other things. So something to think about there. Good questions. Thank you. This is great. Okay. Do I have worksheets or written resources that could be shared? Yes, I have a bunch of articles on my website. It's donovanhealth.com. And maybe, Mike, you could throw that in the chat for everybody. Yeah, donovanhealth.com. And if you go there, you'll see at the top of the website a section that says articles. And I have, there's hundreds of research-based articles with citations, with some exercises that are written out too. Yep, podcasts as well. All right, let's see what we got here. For the last the last exercise I want to show you, this is more of a meditation with sound, with active sound. I'm going to turn on some music, and then I want to show you one of my favorite, it's called a mantra. It's from Tibet, and it's spelled like this. It's in the chat. Om Ah, and it's spelled hum, but the pronunciation is hum. Om Ah Hum. And this is in Tibetan Buddhism they call this the mantra of purification. I don't teach religion. That's not really what I'm here to do. But I do want to show you these three sounds. Even if you're not a spiritual person whatsoever, uh, the people that I've shown this to, which are thousands, and my own experience just tells me that the combination of these particular sounds with the vagus nerve stimulation really do a lot for mental clarity. If you struggle with the racing thoughts, if you struggle with, especially at bedtime, you can't get your brain to shut the heck up, this is a great exercise for that. It's also great before big decisions, or if you are spiritual and you want to help yourself get into a more reflective place or a prayerful place. This is a great collection of sounds to do. So we do them all in one breath. I'll demonstrate. Om Ah Hum. It's just like that. And what I'll do, I just got to grab my music here. Hello, music. There you are. So it's interesting. My Bluetooth speaker, if I don't use it right away, it gets irritated with me and just turns off just for fun. So there it is. All right. So the invitation is just, again, spine is straight, just to settle in. You can listen, you could do the sounds if you like, take breaks as you need to. We're going to do multiple repetitions of this and just listen to your body. Here we go. Breath in. Sorry, I got it backwards. Om Ahum. Om Ah. Breathing in. Om Ah. Om See if you can use a little more volume this time. Breath in. Om And then just breathe in and let it go. Take a few moments to yourself. Just check out how you're feeling. Mind, body, mood. As you're ready, start to bring yourself back slowly. It helps to rub your hands together. Start to get a little grounded. Then you can put your hands on the top of your legs and kind of do this with your palms, just kind of pushing down on the tops of the thighs towards your feet and also the sides of the legs. Oh, good, good, good. Let's shake our hands out like so. And then forwards like this, and then just wave to all the people that are in the room here, because why not? And then maybe high five them. Make the sound if you can. Drum on the people below you because they appreciate it. And then up above you, good. Shake out the arms. Don't hit your table. Yeah, 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 yeah. Good, 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 good. Look at us self-regulating. Isn't that nice? Big breath in together, please. Just let it go. Nice. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything else I can help with? I've got someone's relaxed and uber relaxed and sleepy. Great. Hopefully you're not an Uber driver. That's not a good mix. Yeah, chanting and driving, probably not a great idea unless you're a road rager, then just a little bit. Yeah, if you want to put in the chat how you're doing, I'd love to see it. Again, it helps. Wendy's asking, the recording I was using is a composition of mine, and it's called a sleep frequency, and that is it's a part of actually what I'll be telling you about in just a moment. Yes. So what I have for you all, so I have a thing called the Donovan Sound Healing Circle. And what it is, I used to sell all my stuff like one product at a time, which was fine. But then I was working with a company and I switched and I decided just to put everything together. And I have it in a subscription form, and I made it a whole lot more affordable than buying things piece by piece. What I've amassed over the years, it's a library. I've got 12 courses, 12 full courses, each of them with tutorials and guided audio. There's over 90 tutorials in there. There's 27 audio tools that you can download or stream. You get one of my books. It's called Whole Life Sound Healing, and and you also get to see all the research behind every technique that I'm showing you. So what I'm doing for you guys, if you're interested, I have a free trial. You don't have to pay anything if you don't want. You get 7 days. I put the link in the chat. And if you like it, and if you want to keep it, it's $19 a month. And it's if you're looking for source material for the people that you work with, this is literally an endless source of material. And I say endless because I keep adding new material and you just still pay the same. So every time I put a new course in, new audios, you just get it. It just shows up in your library, and that's ongoing as long as I'm on the planet. This is what I'm doing now. So if you're interested, if you want to get in on that, the trial's there. And listen, if it's not for you, don't feel bad about canceling the trial. It's okay. That you're not going to hurt my feelings. But it is a very excellent resource if I do say so myself. There's plenty in there for you. There's things in there for sleep, lots for mood and brain health, especially if you work with older adults. vagus nerve stimulation is really, really fantastic for them. There is research from the Journal of Alzheimer's. There's two studies, one in 2017, one in 2018, that talk about how they were able to work with a group of people, a pretty big sample, I think it was maybe 60, who were showing signs of pre-Alzheimer's, and they did one of the sound healing exercises 12 minutes a day for 12 weeks, and they were able to stop the progression of the disease. It didn't cure Alzheimer's. That's not what it was, but they were able to stop the progression. That was the 2017 study. 2018, they came back and they looked at people who kept doing the exercise, right, every day, religiously, 12 minutes a day, and they saw they were able to actually regain some of the ground that they lost from the pre-Alzheimer's conditions that were happening. They're still doing more studies. There's more on the way, but this stuff, if you don't already know about it, you're going to hear a lot about vagus nerve stimulation. There are companies coming out of the woodwork creating little devices that you put on your neck and that it buzzes your neck. And there's one called Gamma Core, and the prescription for it, wait for it, $600 a month, every month. So it works. It does work. They use it for cluster migraines. They use it for people who have treatment-resistant depression. It totally works, but you got to pay for it every month. And unless you've got great insurance that's going to cover this, you're out of luck. It's doing exactly what we just did, creating vibration, stimulating the vagus nerve for a certain period of time. So the Gamma Core, they say it's a 20-minute treatment. It's just vibration. Anyway, I get angry when people misuse this stuff. So I'm showing it to you. I hope this has been helpful. Mary and Mike, I appreciate you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share this with you. I hope I get to see you all sometime soon. I'm on Instagram, Jim Donovan Sound Health, and Facebook, the same thing. You can find me. I'm pretty easy to find. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions, and I can answer more questions if there are any before we wrap up.
Yeah, that would be great. Jim, wow. What a fantastic presentation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So,
My pleasure.
if you have questions, this would be a great time to ask. And also, put your biggest takeaway from Jim's presentation in the chat bar. It is so wonderful. Whatever kind of bubbles up from this amazing experience we just had with him, if you pop it in the chat bar, it's really helpful to see. What are you learning? What's at the top of your experience right now? And while we're gathering, okay, let's see. Do we see anything chats in here in the chat bar?
I do. I see.
Oh, good. Super. You got some
what
questions there.
What are experiences with depression? So I don't consider myself someone who has severe depression, but I get the seasonal affective stuff here in Pennsylvania, where I live. And so what I did this year, especially after the beast that 2020 was, I set it up so that once a week I was doing programs online, and we were doing vagus nerve stimulation. So I double dipped for myself and shared it at the same time. And that's really one of the benefits of this stuff, is that you get to benefit as you do it. So it's double dip when you can, right?
I love that. That's a great recommendation, Jim.
Let's see, we got some things here in the chat.
Did you see the one about growing up asthmatic and used to hum all the time and drove my parents crazy, but I knew
Yes.
instinctively it was helping me?
I see that, Caitlin, and I've heard so many people tell me a similar story. And it is self-regulation is what you are naturally doing. And yes, it gets on people's nerves, but yes, too bad, right? We can find a place and a way to do that for ourselves. What's the difference between humming or playing an instrument? So, good question. I think the humming, what it does, it's a very localized vibration right here on the nerve. I mean, that's the big thing that it does. I mean, as a guitar player, I love the vibration of the strings. Like I can feel them in my chest. I can feel them depending on what the note is. And that definitely helps. Like it feels good. But if you're looking for something that works, like actually works like right away, there's nothing that I've found that beats doing it for yourself. More so than a crystal bowl, more so than listening to guided audio, which also is great. This stuff is the bomb. And shoot, when you go to my website, if you go to the articles and search on, I'll write it here in the chat, Vagal Tone. So this stuff is amazing to know about. Vagal Tone, this is a really simple way to think about it. Is it's the resilience of your nervous system, and you can literally, and this is very generally put, simply put, you can strengthen the tone, not the sound of your vagus nerve, but the physicality of this nerve by doing these exercises, right? And what higher vagal tone does for you is it helps you to bounce back from stress more quickly. For those of us who have had a really rough year, it wouldn't be surprising if your vagal tone was lower than usual, unless you've been working out like a fiend and taking great care of yourself. If you've ever had an illness, illness and lower vagal tone tend to go hand in hand. Just real quickly, I know we need to be done. 2019, I had very severe illness. I had surgeries that went wrong. I contracted sepsis. I had tubes on my throat, in ICU, really bad shape. When I got home, my muscles were wasted. I lost 40 pounds of muscle weight. Voice was completely trashed because I had an NG tube down there and 5 anesthesias. So it was bad stuff. My hair hurt. I couldn't look at light. I couldn't hear the sound of my loved ones' voices. I couldn't stand it. I could hear it, but I couldn't stand it because I had no strength to battle it back. I couldn't contain anything. And my vagal tone was at the very bottom. Like I had 3 near-death experiences. So I was very down at the bottom of what it means to be alive. And with what I've shown you today and a few other exercises, I slowly was able to rebuild my resilience and also my voice. So, from February when it started to July, I was able to rebuild and be able to sing 3-hour shows again that summer. I take care of myself. I do the right stuff. But anyway, I want you to know that this stuff is the real deal. It really helps. It's tens of thousands of years old, by the way. I'm not giving you anything new when I give you a mantra like we did. But what I am doing is show you what's actually happening in the body and how can you use it for yourself. The last thing I'll say about this is that if you have people that don't like to do the chanting, or if that's you, find your 4 favorite songs, turn them on each day, and hum along. And that will give you plenty of vagus nerve stimulation, and you'll get all the benefits. That's
Wow. Yay. Thank you. So a show of incredible appreciation. Jim, thank you so much. That was beautiful. We're so honored to have you and sharing and changing lives. And your dedication to that is just such a beautiful gift to all of us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mike is going to put all of Jim's info in the chat bar. And you do have trainings. He has amazing trainings and wonderful resources. And thank you for the 7-day trial. I'm going to go on myself there. I've actually got a lot of your material, but I'm always interested in anything you have and bring to the table. So thank you, thank you. You've changed my life, and I know Mike's and so many of us. Coming up next week, just before we wrap it up, is Jenny Swerdl, June 23rd, and facilitating Rhythm Remotely. Tips, tricks, and hacks for making the most of your virtual rhythmic events. If you don't know Jenny, she is an amazing drum circle facilitator up on the West Coast. She is just the bomb and super creative and doing all kinds of really large community events and corporate events, and she's just quite remarkable. So please join us for that. It will be sure to be really exciting and inspiring. And then the last of our series before we take our summer break is my dear friend Stefano Baroni from Italy. And he is presenting, he's a body percussionist, an amazing musician. And I met him a couple years ago when I was presenting in Umbria in Italy. And well, actually, no, I think he came to two of my trainings, and he is remarkable. And body music, he's doing a lot of body percussion, but in the most amazingly creative, exciting, and inspiring ways. So he will be closing out the season, and then we'll be picking it up again in the fall. But we will take a summer break, and you do know that all of these are recorded for you, and it's a library. Please invite your friends to check it out as well. You can donate just to kind of keep us afloat on the Music for People website. I think Mike has got that link. We appreciate any and all donations to keep us afloat, mostly just to man the news, pay the people that are doing the newsletters and running the organizational components of this series. Hey, Mike, anything else from your end that
Well,
I'm?
I always learn. I mean, I learn new things every time I spend time with Jim. But I love the way he presents as much as I love the material. And so, he often talks about this as our birthright, and I really love that we have the tools that we need, that it's our birthright. You've got some great resources. I mean, he's got like weekly events on Zoom. He's got a tremendous website there to definitely click and make sure you come back and check that out when you have more time. And so, if you wouldn't mind, open your mics and just give Jim a big thanks and woohoo and whatever else you like.
Thank you, Jim.
Yay! Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Yay!
Jim, do you want to take us out with a closing activity?
Yeah. We're going to breathe in for 6 seconds and then out for 6 seconds. Ready? Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In and out through the nose. In and out. 2 more. In, out. And last one, in and out. Much love. Take impeccable care of yourself. See you next time.
Thanks so much, Jim.
Thank
Now
you.
you can unmute and say goodbye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mary.
you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All over the world. Have a great evening. Have a great day. Maurice in Japan. Cleona, have a good evening in Switzerland. Jorg and Vilma.
Japan checked in. It's 5 a.m. there. We literally went around the globe
Everybody,
today.
Lulu. I'm on your time now. Woohoo! Dan, thanks for joining us. York and Vilma, always great to see you. Carolyn, thank you. Rebecca, thanks for joining. Thanks, everybody.